What is up? Yeah. It's not the Lemon Cast, but just a nice podcast discussion. I got Nostalgia64 here. How's it going?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing all right.
Nice. It's been a little bit since our last discussion. I figured to talk to you again.
Yeah,
You ready?
yep.
Sweet. So I just want to jump in first with obviously we both do YouTube. What got you into doing YouTube?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of lazy with my uploads. As you can see, I haven't uploaded in a month, but we'll be back at it again soon. But what kind of started YouTube for me was different people in the YouTube gaming community, like Black Jesus, AVGN, people like that. They just kind of explain their stories, explain what they do. AV like excuse me, Angry Video Game Nerd is a classic. He,
Definitely.
he yeah, he's hilarious. I wish I had his comedic stylings, but I don't. And Metal Jesus, so when it comes to Metal Jesus, I when I first discovered him, I used to love his videos. He used to do buying guides and stuff like that. And that's what kind of got me into it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's AVGN. James Rolfe, he's a huge influence on me too. I just love his all the stuff he's done. I love his behind the scenes stuff too, like the way he makes the videos. I found super interesting. And then Metal Jesus is definitely like if I need a buying guide or something, that's the guy I'm going to first. His videos are they have so much information and they'll present it in such an entertaining way. So
Yeah,
that was definitely a big influence for me also.
yeah, man. I love those two channels because they kind of like have a sense of what retro gaming is. Like whenever I do videos and stuff about retro gaming, I want to like put my own twist on it.
Right. And I think like the thing about YouTube influences is you never want to just copy one, but you take pieces of different ones, and they all kind of mixes together.
Yeah,
Yeah, like I gotta say though, the one thing, the one thing I'm jealous of was AVGN and Metal Jesus. I wish I had the amazing basement.
yeah, definitely.
Like I know for me, space issues are a big problem. Like I don't have a game room, so it's just kind of put the shelf where you can, but it doesn't look amazing. You got a game room? Or?
Unfortunately, I don't. I just have all my consoles set up in one spot. Uh, Basically, the whole thing is kind of a mess right now. I have a GameCube stacked on a Wii, stacked on top of an Xbox One. It's getting a little crazy, but I plan on
I can relate to that.
yeah, I plan on updating something soon.
Yeah, that's the one downside of not having it. Is all the consoles are together. And it's such a hassle. It's like, oh, I just want to play this one console. Then you got to try to plug it in, unplug stuff, find the controller. That's the one downside of retro game collecting. It's just, it can be a pain sometimes to set up a new console.
Yeah, see, this is kind of like the dangerous thing I do. It's just like I have like a power strip or whatever, right? And I have all the
Yeah.
consoles hooked up to one power strip. And I know that sounds a little bit dangerous. I know, but it's kind of like what I have to work with. It's either that or a console is just put on the shelf, no wires, no nothing, and it just sits there. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah, dude,
just
I can relate completely.
yeah,
I really push the limit of outlets. Like I'll have like those extendos, and then there'll be power strips plugged in and extension cords. I'm like, man, I. It gets to a point sometimes where you plug something in, then the light flickers, and I'm like, well, as long as I don't have all the consoles on at once, I'll hopefully be safe.
let me tell you a story. I think it was like a month ago or whatever. I was playing Gamekeeper or whatever, and I just plugged in my N64, and the
Yeah.
power just went out in my whole room.
Oh, you tripped a breaker.
Yeah, and then I'm like, what is that? I smell smoke. It's
Oh
it
no.
tells yeah, it smells like something is about to set on fire. I get a flashlight, and it's the Xbox One.
Oh no.
Yeah, thank God it still works. Otherwise, I don't know what I would do. I would probably just have to stick with the PS4. But yeah,
Yeah, I think you got real lucky if it's like smoking but survived. It rode a real fine line.
yeah,
I can relate. I tripped a breaker like a few weeks ago. It wasn't from actually game collecting. I plugged heater in, and then I'm like, I'm sitting on my computer working, and then the power just goes out, and I'm like, what? The power's out. Then I go out to my kitchen, and the microwave's still on, so I'm like, half the house is out of power suddenly.
yeah. I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, it's retro game collecting though. It's fun, but there's always those little things like trying to keep the dust off of stuff is I've basically given up. Like the dust, like the Xbox original, like it's got too many grooves, to get the dust out.
Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to like consoles or whatever, I'd say mine are all clean. It's just like I get like a little alcohol wipe, and just
Yeah,
kind of scrub it down. That's usually
yeah,
what
that's
I
the way
do.
to do it. That or like those wet like disinfectant wipes or
Yeah.
what they can find. Every game collector, it's all about finding those little solutions and stuff. Speaking of YouTube, I asked you what got you into YouTube. What got you into retro game collecting? Like, how long have you been doing it and stuff?
I'd say I've been doing it since like 2017, and it's kind of hard to explain. This is a guy on Instagram called Retro and Rare. He's about
Hmm.
retro gaming and hip hop. That's what mainly got me into it. Just seeing his setup and all that. That's what got me into it. I'm like, wow, he has all this stuff from back in the day. I should probably, get into it. But that
Yeah,
that's basically what inspired me to get it. That's what inspired me to get into retro gaming now. However, this is kind of like how I got started with it, how I got my first few consoles. So oddly enough, it was through PewDiePie. I
huh.
know that's weird to say, but
You're gonna have to explain that one.
he was playing Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I'm like, wow, this game looks old. What console is this on? And then it brings up, original Xbox N64. I'm like, hey, I remember these systems. Then I look up, every commercial 2000s kid remembers, or every commercial a 90s kid remembers, and it's all just gaming commercials. And then I just got this like huge nostalgia wave, and that's what kind of like got me into it. Like a few days after that, I went and got a PS2 and a GameCube, and it all started from there.
I see. You fell down that. You started as one video, then you started engaging nostalgia, and you fell down the collecting hole.
Yeah,
And now you're trapped like like the rest of us.
yeah.
Game collecting. What would you say is like the console you're primarily going for game collecting? Everyone kind of has that one console. Like, what's the main console for you?
Oh, for
If
me,
there's,
yeah. I don't think I have one, but I'd say like my main console that I collect for is GameCube because that's the one I basically grew up with. It-
right.
that's the one console I had growing up, so I want to collect as much games as I can for it. But right now, when it comes to GameCube, I want to get every game I played as a kid, and it's basically done. I'm just missing a few more games.
Nice. So, um, a lot of like the first party Nintendo games and stuff. I'm guessing like Mario Sunshine,
Yeah, man.
Metro.
I I want Mario Sunshine, but I cannot find one for a good price.
I am in the same boat. There's these the handful of GameCube games I really want. Like for a while, I was on eBay. It's like, ugh, I want Animal Crossing, but I can't justify the money. That's the one downside. Some of those games are like 50, 60, $70. It's like, oh, I want it, but it's hard to
Yeah.
justify that.
Hopefully with this COVID wrapping up, hopefully my local game store will open up. Cause me personally, I've been itching for games for like months now. I've been rotating from N64 to original Xbox to PS2. It's just been like that for the past few days. So I cannot wait for this thing to be over and get some new games.
Right. I need to go back to Goodwill and stuff. It's just like every time I go to the town where Goodwill is in my area, I'm like, ah, damn it. Can't they just open it for me? I'll take the risk. You know?
Yeah,
Like, oh, I want those cheap Xbox games. Ah. Yeah, that's a shame about Goodwill and Value Village and stuff. Is and you can probably relate to a degree because we collect from the same generation. You get so used to paying like $3.99 a game that then when one of those games is 10 on eBay, it's like, oh, it feels like so much more.
yeah. And the weird thing is like our generation is coming up on like retro gaming. Like, well, me personally, I could see it happening. Like everybody was hyped about the N64, Super Nintendo. I'd say I not to be cliche, but it's our generation now. PS2 games are starting to go up in price. Some GameCube games, some Xbox games. They're slowly starting to like rise up in price a little bit.
Right. It's like, well, and you see now like the NES stuff is starting to fall. It's like people, it's like a wave of nostalgia, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
And what I find interesting too will be like, will the 360 stuff like, because as the new generation comes up that cares less about physical media, it'll be interesting to see like if the 360 stuff and the PlayStation 4 stuff, if that ever gets that wave, or if it's kind of like gonna trickle down, you know.
Dude, here's the fucked up thing about retro gaming. Like and I know this is gonna sound cringe, but I was a huge Xbox 360 fanboy, and it kind of makes me feel like really old. The fact that the Xbox 360 is gonna get retro someday. That it makes me feel like an old man.
Yeah, I can relate. It's crazy like how long ago, like it came out in 2005, like that's 15 years. Like
Actually,
the time passes so quick. Dude, the 90s still feels like 10 years ago. Like
right,
I'm probably younger than you, but like when you still think of like something in the 90s, it doesn't feel like as long as it's been. Like 1980 was 40 years ago, like just crazy.
yeah. However, though, there's two things I want to bring up since you brought up the 90s. So one thing I want to bring up is the other day, for some reason, I was in the mood for Pac-Man, and the Xbox 360 demo disc.
Yeah.
I threw that in there, and it brought me way, way back. Like that little video thing for all the game demos. That brought me to a
Yeah.
place. That brought me to a place I haven't been in years.
Nice. You got that's a rare feeling to capture, but when you can, it's magical.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you saw my post on Instagram, but it says you shouldn't take all the Dunkaroos. So to kind of explain this, Dunkaroos are coming back from the 90s or whatever, and they're bringing them back to 7-Eleven. So
Right.
they kind of like they're kind of like exclusive to 7-Eleven for now. They're bringing them back to grocery stores in July. However, they keep on selling out. My local 7-Eleven, as soon as they get stock, it's gone. And I just see on Instagram and eBay people selling these huge lots. Like they took the display, they took everything, and they're
Jeez.
selling it for like $100. Like it's it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
That
so it's damn scalping people. Like they buy up everything and they sell it for a high price. It's one of the scalpels are one of the most annoying cancerous things to nostalgia and game collecting, you know?
yeah, like how much you want to bet they didn't even grow up with Dunkaroos? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're just trying to make money and be scumbags.
Yeah,
It's like the fucking it's ridiculous how much scalping happens. Like when Nintendo released that cereal, people are scalping it. Like these people, they'll buy up everything. Like it's and then the best though is when the company makes more and then those people lose their money. Like so many people bought 800 fucking Nintendo classics and then now you see them trying to sell them for $20 to get rid of them. That's the one nice thing.
yeah, but
But as retro game collectors, any folk listening, anybody who's a game collector, we all hate scalpers.
yeah, most definitely. Expect especially the ones that seal all the Dunkaroos, that take the display and everything. Because that's the thing, you ruin it for everybody. I bet most of the people that selling Junkaroos either don't know what they are or they didn't grow up with it. That's my theory.
I agree. Like if they didn't buy them up, everyone could enjoy them. It'd be a nice thing. But it's just the people that are selling them on eBay. I bet you that they have a bunch of products. Like I bet these people, like part of the way they make their money is they figure out what's gonna be kind of rare, and then they go buy it up. Like that's their whole game is to be a scalper, and they ruin it for every fandom that they interact with.
Right. And for any scalper listening to this, I hope your Dunkaroos go bad. I hope you're not able to sell them. All
Yeah,
right.
I hope whatever company's producing Dunkaroos, I hope they make a bunch of them, and then I hope in 10 years you have a bunch of Dunkaroos rotting in your garage, and you've lost thousands of dollars because you try to be a scumbag on eBay.
Exactly. But speak. Well, let's move on from these fucking scumbags. What do you think
Yeah,
of
we
the
could rant about them all day.
What do you think of the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake? Well, what do you think of the announcement?
It's a good idea. Ooh, I can feel the angry mob now. I've never played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. However, people seem to love 1 and 2, and I'm sure they're great games. And if I'm ever gonna play them, I'll probably play the remake if it's good.
Well, for for me, I'm cautiously excited. So it's made by Vicarious Visions, the people that did the Spiral trilogy and the Crash trilogy. So basically, the map and the models are based off of Robomoto. That's the people that did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, and that game was. Excuse me for the background noise. I'm
No,
sorry,
it's all good. Background noise is something I deal with constantly, so I can relate.
but yeah. So okay, they made the Crash. They made the Crash trilogy and the Spiral trilogy. However, the models in the map are based off of Robomoto, which is the worst publisher. I mean, which is the worst developer for Tony Hawk games. And the map and the models are based off of the Tony Hawk 5 engine. So
Hmm.
I'm cautiously excited because that game sucks. But if Vicarious Visions do it right, then yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that sounds like that'd be reason to be cautious. It's like, at that point, it sounds like it might be more of a reskin or retooling than a remake from the ground up, which, it's tricky. That's definitely the right way to go. Is intrigued and curious, but not necessarily hyped. I think that's the smart way to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, Tony Hawk, like, if this is good, it's gonna make a lot of money. And what's interesting and what I wonder is like, if this might usher in a lot more games that are like Tony Hawk, like more of the off sports games that aren't football. Like you could see more like skateboarding games, more like snowboarding games. This might usher in a new era where you might get more of the off sporting type games.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, besides Skater XL and Session, there's Skatebird, bro, I guess. And I mean, I think it's based off of Tony Hawk. I didn't really look it up too much.
Well, it seems like a lot of the newer skate games, including like the later entries in Tony Hawk, from what I've seen online, a lot of them haven't been good.
Well, for me, I wouldn't say they're necessarily bad or whatever. I would just say they needed a little improvement, and they were all set. So, like, let's just say Tony Hawk's. Well, you probably haven't played it, but Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. A lot of people rag on that game because it just doesn't feel right, doesn't control well. It just doesn't control well. I personally feel like if they mechanic wise, if they went back to Tony Hawk's Underground and Underground 2 with those graphics, they would have been all set.
Hmm. That's interesting. I wonder, maybe like the game's kind of lost their soul and they just became a money machine and then they milked it too much, is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, they
From an
did.
outside point.
They did milk it.
So I'm guessing you're gonna, keep up with these remakes, but read the reviews for see what people are talking about, the general reception before you go straight and buy them.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a couple of days and wait and see.
Speaking of remakes, what are some other games that you would like to see remade?
Well, for me personally, I can't really think off the top of my head, but here's just a few. I would say Manhunt because we now I'm gonna go on a rant and excuse me for my language, but
You go
Rock,
full blown.
Rockstar hasn't been Rockstar for the past. Rockstar hasn't been Rockstar for the past like 5 years. You know, when GTA 5 released, I feel like they came a better version of EA. And I know that's wrong for me to say, but think about it. Rockstar is shoving microtransactions in GTA 5, and imagine what they're gonna do with GTA 6. You know, and it gets me fucked up. Is Rockstar was great. I mean, let's go back to the PS1 with the original Grand Theft Auto. That was great. That was innovative. You know, GTA 2, fucking awesome. They improved it. GTA 3, fucking amazing. Defined
Right.
that game defined our generation. But well, San Andreas was good too. GTA 4 was kind of for me back in the day, but
Also Vice City.
oh yeah, most definitely. And for GTA 6 predictions, I would most likely say it's going to take place in Vice City too. But I'd say I'd say uh, I'd say around 2014, 2015 is when Rockstar started getting scummy. And
Right.
that's just my opinion.
I agree, and I think the issue is, I think GTA 5. I think the campaign and the single player is great, and some of the best of GTA. But here's the issue: Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, the amount of money it made, it kind of corrupted Rockstar or changed their focus to just online. It seems like.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I don't know if you were around back then, but we heard rumors of a story DLC. But hearing it now, guess what happened? They didn't do it because there was so much money in Grand Theft Auto Online. And see, I don't want to say I hate companies like this because I see it from their perspective. But you got to think the hardcore fans, and I know if they're gonna say, "Oh, but you're the minority." Still, we're a large minority. We're I know this sounds weird to say, but we're not gonna shell out money just to get a vehicle in the GTA Online. That's low key kind of why I quit, which I kind of regret it now, but it's whatever. Like I quit GTA Online because things just got way too expensive. I left I left before the I left before the excuse me. I left before the casino DLC heist. That for me that's when I personally left because things just got way too expensive.
Right. It's like the focus in that time it was less about fun gameplay and new things. It was more about will this generate $50 million more for our shareholders? It's all about money. And with Rockstar, I think an area where this has really been a big thing is Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm a big Red Dead 2 fan, for the single player. I don't give a fuck about the online, but I hate that they spent like 6 years, right, making Red Dead 2. This the environment, the characters, the map. They crafted this reality, and yet they haven't made any single player DLC at all, even though it would make a lot of money. And they had single player DLC for Red Dead 1 and other GTA games. They used to have single player DLC, but notice it all went away after GTA 5 Online was so successful.
Right. And I mean, I don't mean to wish Rockstar bad, but I wish GTA Online kind of failed. I wish it was just like GTA 4 when it was just 15 to 20 people in the lobby. We were all doing our thing. Like, I'm sorry to sound like a boomer, but I want to go back to the GTA 4 days when everybody rushes to the airport, steals helicopters, and well, just kind of talk shit on mics. You know, I
Right.
I,
The
I
good
want to
old
go.
days of the 360.
Yeah, I want to go back to the small servers where everybody was working together or killing each other. I want to go back to where everybody was committing drive-bys on each other, doing skydiving races. I want to go back to the GTA. I want to go back to the GTA 4 days.
Right. As an aside with Rockstar, and how nowadays so many of these big gaming companies are just like greedy as fuck. I really feel like the 360 time period was almost the best like middle point. Well, you had online gaming, but gaming still was like it used to be. It was still felt like, small company feel. Well, it wasn't so greedy. I wonder, the 360 era was almost like the perfect middle point, and also you had a lot of online chat and stuff, and it was exciting. I wonder if that's almost the perfect middle point, and now we're at this point of just all the greed and everything becoming so samey and not innovative.
Yeah, well, it kind of sucks, but it's just the way it is now, and I guess this is part of the reason why I started getting to. I guess this is part of the reason why I started getting into retro gaming, but gaming for me, gaming is a shell of its former self. People don't want to innovate anymore. People just want to make money. I mean, look how big the N64 was when it first released. Look how big the the PS2 was. Like, can we go back to those days? Now we got the PS5 and the Series X. I'm probably gonna get PS5 day one. But when it comes to the Series X, I'm not buying it. And I think you saw my post on this on Instagram, but I've been an
Yeah.
X I've been an Xbox fan since the original Xbox. I didn't own it, but I would always go to my cousin's house and play the original Halo on it. I went from that to Xbox 360 to Xbox One, and I'm a huge Xbox fan. But I don't think it's gonna go well this generation, man. And I'm sorry to say that, but look how the Xbox One look how the Xbox One was, right? Remember that E3
Right.
conference? I, remember the E3 conference where they said they were gonna remove a bunch of
Yeah.
things?
It was
I
ridiculous.
I sat there in front of my computer screen just in awe. And then a bunch of videos come out about Xbox and Microsoft. And that's the thing, that kind of tainted everybody's perspective of the Xbox One. Now with the Series X, they just released a shitty ass showcase where they just show trailers and they claim, oh my god, it's gameplay. When all of us know it's not. I mean, what do they consider as gameplay? We consider gameplay raw gameplay when you're walking around the world and you can see the HUD, when you do different things. They consider gameplay cinematics. And
Right.
I think that's kind of scummy. But if Xbox doesn't shape up in the next 1 to 2 years, I'm done with it, man. Like this
Yeah,
is
I have the same position as you.
like this for me. I know this sounds weird to say, but they should go back to the original Xbox era where they were wild and they tried to do different things. Like I know they had The Rock present the original Xbox. Just imagine somebody like, I don't know, Lil Yachty or some big rapper nowadays promoting the Xbox One, promoting the Xbox Series X. I want to go back to
Yeah.
those. I want to go back to those wild days when Microsoft would release, different types of games like Whacked. I forgot the name of it, but it's just a flying game. I can't think of it right now.
Is it
Uh,
Freaky Flyos?
uh,
Oh,
I
Crimson Skies?
yes, that's it. Where they would just release wacky games.
Right.
But of course, what's the money going into? What's our main statistics? And that's like I said, man. I agree with you. The Xbox 360 was a perfect middle point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna deliver a rant about the Xbox brand. Here, the issue right now, and I think Microsoft doesn't want to win consoles anymore. They've given up. And the issue is the Xbox One's biggest problem was a lack of exclusive games. And although games are going to be on PC, so they haven't really fixed this issue going forward. The new Xbox is not exciting. Like the 360 and the Xbox original, especially, you had exclusive games. You had to get that system to get that console. Now, it's not the same philosophy they once had. For instance, if I was in charge of Xbox, and now it's kind of too late, but if I was placed in charge of Xbox 2 years ago, what I would have done is say, let's go back to the drawing board, look at all the exclusive franchises and such that we had on the original Xbox. Let's bring back Crimson Skies first of all. Number one, bring that back. It was Epic Online. Let's fix Halo. Let's have at least 5 new IPs at launch. Like let's go back to the drawing board. Let's
Exactly. And
excitement is the biggest thing. It's not exciting. Like there's no draw to it, you know?
yeah, and I feel like this is what's killing Xbox. I mean, they had a perfect opportunity when they released all the mini consoles. They could have swooped in and released it and could have released an original Xbox Mini. But no, we're focusing on PCs. We're doing this. We're doing that, and this is what's killing the Xbox brand for me. I mean,
Yeah, it's a lack of excitement.
just imagine the original Xbox Mini. Just imagine the original Xbox Mini. How cool? How cool would that be?
Yeah, like it, people would have bought it. There was a time to make that. I would have bought it, and especially if you could get the Xbox Mini. Imagine this, right? they released the Xbox Mini, even if it only had 10 games, you put Crimson Skies, you put Halo, you put these games and have multiplayer, and people can buy this mini
Exactly.
console with their friends. Some college bros can do couch multiplayer. That would be so fun. Like that would have delivered a lot of value.
It would. It would just bring in.
Think about the convenience of it too. You don't have to hook up the giant Xbox original. If you could just bring this with you to a friend's house, like and be playing Halo 2 multiplayer with full guys on a couch, that could be a marketing ploy for it too. And
Right.
here's what's genius. If they were following what I would have done, then guess what? People are now playing Crimson Skies at colleges and stuff. Oh wait, the new Xbox console has an exclusive new Crimson Skies game on it. Now they're gonna go buy the new console. Like it's they just don't want to win consoles even anymore. It's annoying.
Exactly. That's what's killing them. And if they don't shape up in the next generation, X for me, Xbox is done, and for them, they're gonna be out of here. That's
Yeah,
just
that's
what I
why
think.
I'm I'm like optimistically, well, not optimistically. I'm looking at it, but like I'm not excited, and I don't know what I'm gonna do next generation. I don't know if I'm just gonna commit to PC or what, but I, the next generation's just not exciting. And the another annoying thing about the new Xbox console is that they're releasing Halo Infinite, which should be like the big flagship game, but it's still coming out on the Xbox One too. That it, why is it coming out on the old console? Like it just none of it makes sense if you want to actually sell the thing.
Yeah, but for me, when it comes to the next generation, it's weird to say. I'm just not into modern gaming anymore, man. I only play like a few games. But
Right.
when it comes to the next generation, I'm probably just gonna pick up the PlayStation 5 day one if they have any good launch titles.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a safe way to go. Because, like, at least, Sony, the exclusive games will be exciting. It's like so many of these companies like EA and Activision and stuff, they just aren't putting out exciting games. Sony is like one of the few that are actually putting out exciting single player games. Like besides Red Dead 2 for single player, when you think of single player games this generation, it's almost all Sony titles.
Yeah, and I don't mean to get political, but Last of Us 2. It, I I don't want to say much because I don't want to get political, but what they did was
We
fucked
don't
up.
want to we don't want to spoil it either.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it like this. They fucked up the story. That's it.
Right. I'm still looking at it. Like I'm still gonna look more into it. 'Cause I enjoyed The Last of Us 1 a lot, so I'll look into Last of Us 2, but they're definitely making some decisions over there, is all I'll say.
Yeah, they're making some bad decisions. Bringing on certain people.
They're making some decisions that might appeal to you if you have a half-shaved head dyed pink. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, moving away from Xbox, I actually we kind of discussed it earlier, but the retro gaming community, specifically the YouTubers, who are besides AVGN and Metal Jesus, who are some like retro gaming YouTubers you like?
Um, right now I can't think off the top of my head, but yeah, I can't really think of anything. But there's that guy Retro and Rare. Shout out to him. He has a dope podcast, and I'd say that's all I can really think of right now. I really can't think of it. I really can't think of any YouTubers right now.
Right, there's a lot of them too. It's the difficult part. Metal Jesus, I think,
Yeah,
is probably. like the best for education wise. One that I've actually been enjoying a lot. Have you seen Scott the Woz?
Oh wait, okay, yeah, I just remembered a few. Yeah, Scott the Waz and
His stuff
LGR.
is amazing. Scott the Woz's videos are like they're really well made. They're some of the best for retro gaming videos.
Yeah, they are. But one there's one I just thought of. LGR. Have you ever heard of him?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, he's more or less on the PC side, but
Yeah,
when he
his
releases,
PC collection is amazing.
oh hell yeah. And it's weird. Like I know I'm into like retro gaming, but recently I really want like remember those old Apple laptops with all the different colors, blue, red, all that.
Yeah,
For some reason, I want one of those. Like I want to get an old shitty one and just put it back together.
I don't blame you. That's the biggest appeal about old computer collecting. On one hand, it's all such a pain in the ass to run, but on the second hand, it all looks so cool, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And it's weird. I've been aching for a lot of retro stuff recently too. So I've recently I've been looking up like VHS collections and stuff, and hopefully once I'm done remodeling, I want to get like a I want to get like a large CRT TV with the VHS tape player, and I just want to collect all the movies I had as a kid. Lion King, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Bugs Life, all the Nickelodeon shows. I want to collect all of that just on VHS and just watch it, whenever I want to. Cause
Right.
Because I mean, hey, Nickelodeon, same thing with Microsoft. They're not doing their thing. I mean, look at Disney Plus. If they release a Nickelodeon app with all the '90s shows, that would have been perfect. But no, they want to relate to the modern kid, which it sucks.
Yeah.
But I just want to collect all the Nickelodeon VHS tapes, all the movie VHS tapes I watched as a kid. I want to collect things like E.T., Toy Story, and some other ones like Scarface as well.
Yeah. I almost got into VHS collecting at one point, but I had to draw the line somewhere. Because, I don't make enough money to spread it out, and I don't have enough room, like I said. So that's why, like, I was gonna collect movies and stuff, and I own some Laserdisc and stuff, but like that's why I narrowed my focus to video game collecting. But VHS collecting, I've gone down the rabbit hole. I watched some videos about it. I follow the VHS collecting community actually because I find it fascinating and I like it. But like I just one of those things I have to like from a distance, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you plan on buying VHS tapes? Or?
Well, my main goal right now is to do some remodeling, and then hopefully, if I have enough space, buy a CRT TV, and then honestly, I don't think I can find what I want at like a Goodwill or whatever. So I think I'm just gonna go eBay shopping and just find all the Nickelodeon VHS tapes. And then for all the other ones, I could just, search, find.
Right. My piece of advice for the CRT TV is if space is an issue, get like one of those small ones. That's what I use.
Yeah, definitely. Well, when everything's done, I'm gonna see how much space I have. But the one I'm mainly looking at right now is a Sony Trinitron. Like that's like the
Oh
perfect
yeah.
size for me.
Those are the cream of the crop. I think the only issue is I hear if the screen is flat, light gun games might not work. But besides that, the Trinitrons are like that's the best quality you can get.
Yeah,
I have an old Trinitron, but the issue is my dog's pissed on it. So it still works, but like half the screen is a different color. So if you're playing like an online game and the radar, all the teammates look the same color. So yeah, it's usable kind of, but it's also fucked up.
Yeah. Well, here's a suggestion. Like, if you're able to do it, open it up, just take the screen out and kind of wash it. And I'm not saying the
Yeah.
screen itself. Just take the glass out, wash it down, make sure it's good, and just put it back in. If you're able to like open it up and stuff.
Yeah, it's buried in my storage. I'm saving it for a video at some point, but yeah, I just used a little CRT TV. So like it's a big one I'm gonna get eventually when I have the room. Like you, it's just like eventually when you got the room.
Yeah,
So
but
is there anything else you've been interested in collecting?
um, yeah, iPods. So like, I grew up with like the iPod Touch or whatever, but I want to go back to like the. I don't want to say iPod Touch because it's like different than that. It's just like an iPod that plays like videos and stuff. I want to collect
Right.
that and just put all my music collection on my iPhone right here and put it into that. Because I'm pretty sure, all the music I want to listen to could be put on a little iPod.
Yeah, I think iPod collecting, I could actually see it. Like, I think in like 5 years from now, you're gonna see a lot of people rocking old iPods. 'Cause it's that time now, nostalgia wise.
Yeah, man, like I said, our generation's coming up.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, I think with collecting, I think now, I think game collecting is kind of past its prime. But I think the 2020s will probably be the height of collecting for anything, and I think after that, future generations,
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, man. I, it's weird. Like, I don't want to name people, but I feel like some people are into it just, for the hype. Because that's the thing. Here's the difference between like a hype beast and a collector. A hype beast collects a Sega Saturn because it's trendy, it's cool to take pictures of it. Oh wow! And the collector collects a Sega Saturn because I have a memory. Oh, I have a memory with it. Or this console seems cool. Let me check it out. They collect
right?
games for it, have fun with it, take care of it. Hype beasts, they just take a picture with it, collect a few games. That's it.
It's like the bandwagon type of guy who jumps on it, buys a bunch of stuff at once. Like, who's doing it because other people are doing it, and it looks cool.
Yeah,
And I think some of it is probably, some people they watch the YouTube videos and then they get hyped about doing it, but it's more about the hype rather than the actual act of collecting.
I mean, that's the thing though. The hype led me to where my collection is now. The hype shouldn't lead you to raise up the price of a Sega Saturn to just take pictures with it.
Right. I think that's the difference. It's like the hype is part of it for us, but it goes beyond the hype. Like you want to, like the hype of watching like a Metal Jesus video and be like, oh, I want to get that game that I had from childhood, or it's like I want to get that game because collecting is cool and I'm a collector, but I want to get that game and play it. Versus the hype guy says, I want to get that game because it's cool to get that game, but they're not really interested in playing it. It's more about owning it and showing it off and having a big collection to show off.
Yeah,
I
and
think that's the key difference.
exactly. But here's another question for you. So when this COVID ends, I plan on adding another console to my collection. Now, what's been on my mind recently is that I can't really choose a system. Like, it's either gonna be the Super Nintendo or the Dreamcast. Now, Super Nintendo prices are going down for some reason, so I figured that's my time to swoop in. However, the Dreamcast, that was my first ever console I ever played. The, the Dreamcast was like my earliest like memory or whatever. I don't mean to get sentimental, but like I just remember when I was a kid, my dad teach me how to play
Feel
the.
free to get sentimental. This is nothing. Hey, nostalgia is all about being sentimental.
All right. So yeah, I just remember my dad bringing home a Dreamcast one day, and I was like 2, 3 years old at the time, and I just remember him teaching me how to play. You know, he would do the thing on the game. He would hand the controller to me, and of course, me, the fucking baby, didn't know what to do, but I still, remember that. The
Right.
the intro for the Dreamcast still, that's just like a core memory to me. I could just remember sitting in the living room, sitting on my dad's lap or whatever, just playing Dreamcast.
Right. What uh what was some of your favorite games on the Dreamcast, or the ones that you remember playing?
That Here's the fucked up part about it. I don't remember any games that I played on the
What?
Dreamcast besides Seaman.
Well, Seaman is gonna be the most memorable, probably.
Yeah, like again, I what he said was probably, oh, what the fish show was probably vulgar as shit. But me as a fucking baby didn't reflect that. I just remember tapping on the TV like it was a fish tank.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're like a AVGN in that episode about Seaman.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Dude, that's awesome. It's the thing is, like, you tapping on the TV screen about for the Seaman, that's a rich memory to have.
It is, man. It's just like, well, again, don't mean to get sentimental, but I just remember myself, like being a small as baby or whatever, crawling up to the screen and tapping on it like you would a fish tank for Seaman.
Right. Dude, the Dreamcast is cool.
It is, man.
Like, I have a Dreamcast and I don't own very many games, so that's a console I want to get into collecting for big time. The Dreamcast is awesome.
Yeah, but here's my question though: Dreamcast or Super Nintendo? Because again, both are kind of important to me. Super Nintendo games are going down. Might as well. Time for me to get some up, or get some Super Nintendo games. Or should I get the Dreamcast and just, I don't know, go back to some good times?
That's a tricky one. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to weigh it. Hmm. Would you? Hmm. Because the style of games are very different. Like, would you say both consoles have 5 games that you're interested in playing?
Yes,
Okay. Hmm. Now, do you own a Sega Genesis already?
I don't. To be honest, I don't really like Sega Genesis because there's not really many games I want to collect for it besides the Sonic series and some others. But I am
Yeah,
thinking about.
I had the same thing. I'm like, I got the Genesis. I'm like, the only games I want is Sonic and Truxton and maybe some shooters, but the SNES has more games.
Yeah. However, what I am looking into is the Sega Nomad, because I feel like that's a perfect balance between getting a Sega Genesis and not.
Right.
It's like a portable Sega Genesis where you bought the cartridges, you put them in, and it's basically a portable Sega Genesis.
Yeah, the Nomad's interesting. It's weird how it's slanted, but yeah, the Nomad's interested. That's an interesting one. But I don't know about the SNES though, and the Dreamcast. That's tricky because they both have their value. I don't know. I hmm. I don't know if I can answer that because they're so different. I feel like the Dreamcast is well, basically the Dreamcast price wise is stagnant. Like it doesn't really rise and fall. So I feel like the Super Nintendo prices are gonna start falling. So that might be a safe bet to like maybe wait for the SNES prices to go down more. But That's really tricky. It just depends on which games you want to play now, you know.
Yeah, it's just like I think about it like this. Like I go to the store and I pick up one of these consoles. I know I know of 5 games I'm gonna want to get. Super Nintendo, probably Super Mario World, Mario Kart, probably Street Fighter 2, Donkey Kong Country. Just games I can name off the top of my head. Then with Dreamcast, Seaman, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure. What else? Yeah, fuck. I can't. I'm having a brain fart right now. I can't really think of any I can't really think of any Sega Dreamcast games right now. But I, I'd say I really would like those 2 consoles because, I like them and they're kind of a piece of video game history.
Well, eventually, you're definitely gonna have to get both, but hmm, that's just so tricky. I don't know if you have to be something like that's gonna have to be a spool of the moment decision when you have the money, whatever games you're feeling most at that time, you know.
Yeah,
Because the Super Nintendo, I think overall is probably more expensive than the Dreamcast, maybe. I mean, the Dreamcast, like RPG wise, I think those are pretty expensive. But like, if you want to get like the Sega made titles for the Dreamcast, I feel like overall they would be less expensive than like the Nintendo first party stuff on Super Nintendo. I could be wrong, but I feel like price wise, it's the Dreamcast might be cheaper to get into.
yeah. That's what I'm thinking too. But like you said, it might be just spoiled at the moment. I got a lot of money one day. I just have to go to the store. I'm gonna splurge on one console. What's it gonna be?
You know, one interesting area with the Dreamcast that I've been getting into recently is you can go on websites like Etsy or like I think the one's called Bonanza, and you can get homebrew games for the Dreamcast and some like hacks and pirated stuff. Like I saw like Super Mario 64 for the Dreamcast and a
Holy
bunch of
shit!
I know I'm super curious about that one. Like I just bought Halo for the Dreamcast just because it's so interesting. Like it'll probably be terrible, but it's just like the Dreamcast. So that's one area where the Dreamcast is having a lot of interesting things happen. That might be an area to look at too. Like you can get like collections of games for consoles on Dreamcast. And remember, I think they fixed this later models, but you can burn your own discs for the Dreamcast too if that would be something you'd be interested in. I know from a collecting standpoint not, but from a price standpoint, if you're willing to, you probably that might be a bump in that direction too.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up some, but I was gonna bring up something. I just can't think of it now. But remember the um remember the Bleem games where you could like burn PS1 disc and you could play it on the Dreamcast? I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah. I have heard about that.
Yeah, that might be some. Oh, I remember now. It's gaming screens. So this is another like personal story, whatever. But like when I was a kid, my dad had the original Xbox and he had the screen that came with it too. And
Right.
he would always send me to like my grandparents' place and it's just like, hey, here's the Xbox, here's the screen, here's a bunch of games, do your thing. Now that's something I'm looking forward to is gaming screens. So like in the
Hmm.
next well, hopefully when COVID ends, I'll plan on picking up like a PS1 Slim and I'm hoping I can get the screen with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I see. I don't actually own the original Xbox screen, but that might it is convenient because like I know it's a PS1. I think because it plugs into the console, then there's only one outlet, so it is pretty dang convenient. Plus, if you like we are discussing like earlier, like the annoyance of hooking up a console, if you have that screen attached, then it's as simple as plugging it in. Especially with something as small as like the PS1. So like that actually might be a really convenient option.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it might be convenient. Like let's just say I'm watching a show on Netflix. I don't want to switch to the PS1. I could just put the screen in and play and watch.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That sounds that sounds like really fucking convenient.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would. You should probably look into doing that for sure.
yeah, definitely. I mean, this is kind of all the shit I grew up around. So
Right? It's just yeah. The one thing that holds us back is just that we don't have millions of dollars to buy all the stuff.
yeah. However, though, one other thing I am looking forward to collecting too is I'm not necessarily into toys, but I want to collect like a set of Power Rangers. Like that's recently been on my mind. So, like I grew up with what's it called? Power Rangers SPD, and I had the full setup as a kid. I had all the action figures, all the toys, all the morphers, and I don't really want all that now. I just want the full set of action figures. And
Do you
besides
want them
that,
in box or loose?
loose if they're in loose if they're in good conditions.
Right.
And besides that, there's a show there there was Ninja Turtles back in the day, but it was like the 80s Ninja Turtles. It wasn't like the modern Ninja Turtles. It was like this edgy selling Ninja Turtles. And they came out with this set of toys that everybody had as a kid. That's another set of toys I'm looking to get.
Yeah, toy collecting is like it's not. I think we're approaching it the same way too. Like not full blown like toy collector, but there's like pieces of toy collecting that like I'm also fascinated by. I think we have a similar outlook on that. It's just like because also what's cool about getting like those Power Rangers, for instance, is you could put them on a shelf or something or display them, and
Yeah.
they're just nostalgic. They're cool to have because when you're a kid, you couldn't get all those toys, but now you can.
Yeah, like I remember as a kid, I fucked up my action figures, dude. I would pull the leg off, put a get a marker, draw on the action figure.
So you are that kid from Toy Story 1, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, but yeah, those are the two sets of toys I'm trying to look for.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Like, I still got my childhood toys, and they're definitely not in the best quality, after being played with by a kid. Pieces get broken off and lost and stuff.
Yeah, I remember this once. I remember this one story. I was playing with the action figures by the windowsill, and I remember I was playing with the enemy toy, and I fucking yeeted one Power Ranger out the window.
Did he survive the fall?
Yeah, he landed on the sidewalk.
And yeah, oh, thank God. Hopefully, that wasn't one that's now hundreds of dollars of value.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
Well,
I could. Yeah, that's like the. Luckily, I haven't had the experience with toys yet of picking one up out of the box that's damaged, then finding out it's rare. I ah there was only one moment of quote unquote like toy collecting that I do regret. It's that like my dad had these speed racer cars like in the package.
mm,
But I was a kid and I wanted to play with them, so I eventually convinced him to open them, and now I don't know where they are. So it's a regret. It's one of those things that keeps you awake at night. I'm afraid to look up and see if they're valuable.
yeah, and it's weird too. The Power Rangers set, it's not expensive, but it's it's weird. Like whenever I look up Power Rangers SPD on eBay, I don't see the action figures. I just see like other stuff. So
Yeah.
so whenever I do decide to look for the full set, it's gonna be a tough journey, man. Because that show, I think that show came out like 2004, if I'm correct. But back in the day, at the full set, at all the Power Rangers, had all the Morphers, all the Megazords, all that stuff.
Did you sell them? Oh, did they just get too broken?
No, I think we moved to one place, and that's my mother said, "All right, put all your toys in here that you want to sell." And as we were moving out, everything was in trash bags, and I had to look through the toy bag to look for toys that I wanted to keep. I couldn't find them in there,
Oh,
so yeah, they're gone.
yeah, those dang parents getting rid of all childhood toys.
Dude, I have this, and again, I would personally kill for my childhood GameCube with the memory card and all the games, but I remember I kept mine up until middle school or whatever, and this is in the middle of the Xbox 360 life cycle, and I just remember looking under my bed, seeing my purple GameCube. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this, and I remember trying to hook it up to the TV. Oh yeah, that's right, mine's fucked up because I would play the shit out of it, and it would get overheated. Uh, I played my GameCube to the point where it wouldn't even work, but
Yeah, but that's the thing. When you're a kid, you don't think about like in the future. I'm gonna want this product to be good condition and working well. So like it's just like the rubble that's left over from those years.
yeah, and I'm still lucky mad at my dad about this, but he ended up selling my purple GameCube that I had growing up.
Ooh, again, parents.
Yeah, but now hopefully shouldn't be that hard. I have a silver one. I'm looking into trading it. I'm looking to trade it in for a purple one because I just prefer to have that than the silver one because the purple one is the one I grew up with.
Right. See, I just got the black GameCube, but if I like the purple one's probably the best looking one, I would say. But so have you you're talking about these nostalgic things like Power Rangers or such. Have you bought any of them yet?
No, I haven't.
Now, just don't make this mistake. Don't buy the first one in box or something, because then you'll be trapped buying them all in box.
Yeah, that's something I'm not really looking forward to. Well, what I am looking forward to if I do decide to get it, I want to get one that's just like super dirty, super messed up, and I want to like put it back together. But I don't want it too messed up to the point where there's like chew marks, marker scratches.
Yeah, like, it's not like not the one from the local daycare that's been there a decade. Yeah, a
Yeah,
little bit of condition that. But it's like for me with toy collecting. Recently, I've been getting interested in buying a lot of the old Halo action figures and the old like Halo Mega Block sets. Again, the only issue is, and this applies to Lego too. It's a bit too expensive. It's just always like, I want to just. It's hard to bite the bullet when you got bills to pay.
yeah. The problem with me, I just can't find it. Like I wanted to look for one that has the full set and everything, but for some reason, people just don't remember that Power Ranger show. And it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. It was an odd one too. It was Power Rangers that wanted to be police officers that fought crime or whatever. People just weren't into it. People were into shit. I forgot what it's called. Power Rangers Megazord or whatever, where they're all dinosaurs. Power Rangers
Right.
was the. Oh God.
I was gonna say, so the one you're nostalgic for is like the one. It's not the original. It's from like four, like the early 2000s.
Yeah. Like that. That was really the odd one out. The popular one was Power Rangers Megazord, which if I can't find the SPD ones, I'm probably just gonna get that since I grew up watching that too. But
Well, you might be in luck. If it's not the popular one, you might be in luck, and they might be cheaper than like
true.
the '80s one or whatever. So you might actually be in luck.
Yeah, true. But yeah, though, I mean, it's weird. Like they're still showing Power Rangers, but it's just not the same anymore, dude. You know, oh, so it's just not the same. So with Power Rangers back in the day, it just had that charm. It was dope. It was awesome. That show got you hyped. It got you excited. But kids today, and again, I sound like a boomer, but the Power Rangers today just suck. It
That's
does.
interesting. I don't know very much about the Power Rangers, but from what I've seen of the Power Rangers, it looks like at least like the older ones. I don't know about the new one, but like it definitely looks like it looks unique. Like it has its own charm. Like I could totally see the appeal of it.
Yeah, like as a kid, you just see like a group of four people working together, taking out the enemy. That just that was cool to me.
Right. And I think we're close in age. What are some other childhood shows of yours?
Um, well, here's one thing I do want to bring up. So, I collect '90s things, '90s toys, but I hate those fucking gatekeepers that say, "Oh, you didn't grow up in the '90s, you don't remember this. If you didn't grow up in the '90s, you don't remember this." And
Yeah.
it's mostly Nickelodeon TV shows. Now, here's where they get fucked up. They aired 24-hour reruns of those cartoons. Angry Beavers, Hey Arnold, Doug. They say, "Oh, you guys don't remember that." They aired fucking rerun. They aired fucking reruns for 24 hours. What do you mean I don't remember it?
Right. It's just like if you yeah, they replayed so much of that like you're gonna remember it later on.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like 80, like it's just like those 80s. It's just like those 80s kids too. And to be fair, I don't remember any of this shit because I didn't grow up in the 80s. But it's the same thing there too. Oh, you don't remember that? And yes, what the fuck do you mean? That's the most influential console ever. That's what defined the current. I don't want to say the current I don't want to say the current generation of game, but that's what defined gaming today.
Exactly. So many of the popular series started that. I think a big issue is like, well, a big thing is like the 1980s spawned so many IPs and franchises and properties that last till today. But the one thing I hate is you do see some of the gatekeeping from the people from the 80s. Where it's like, I hate the gatekeeping too. Where like you can't enjoy this or like the blanket statements. Well, it's like in the end of the day, like people will enjoy old stuff. And also, again, like you said, a lot of the old stuff was replayed. A lot of the kids growing up, you know, could experience that. Like, I mean, in my house, we had a Nintendo 64, for instance, even though I was past that time. Like, people underestimate, like, young people still experience a lot of the old stuff.
Oh, give me a second. I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, sorry, man. I'm back. We could just cut that out, I guess.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll edit it out later.
Yeah. So what were we talking about?
It was just kind of like the gatekeeping of like you didn't grow up in the 90s, so you can't appreciate this.
Yeah, and here's the thing that they don't realize. Like most of the shit that was in the '90s were repurposed, or repurposed like us that grew up in the 2000s.
Right.
Like, oh, you don't remember Doug? You don't remember Hey Arnold? Again, they
They
aired
replayed it on Nickelodeon a lot.
yeah. That shit just kind of fucks me up a little bit.
Yeah, and I can relate definitely. again, we grew up at the same time period, like 2000s nostalgia, But the 2000s just had a lot of crossover from the 90s. Like the spiel of the 90s was in 2000s Nickelodeon. They replayed so many of those
Exactly.
old shows. And
Yeah.
also, I hate to break it to people. A lot of like the 25-year-old animators and stuff, a lot of the people making those shows in the 2000s were influenced by the shows that came before them. It all keeps going forward. So like the gatekeeping is it's just nonsense.
Yeah, it is.
This unnecessary elitism. So, you have any more topics to bring up?
No.
'Cause okay. We've been going a long time, and it's been great. I didn't expect it to go this long, but you want to bring it back to YouTube real quick?
Sure. Actually, just curious. Like, do you want to do this like on a weekly basis or whatever? Because this seems kind of cool.
I am 100% fucking down for that. Let me tell you,
All right.
100 fucking percent.
All right. Well, what do you want to call it? I don't know, the nostalgia podcast or something like that.
The Lime Cast. No. Uh. Hmm. I gotta think of a name. Hmm.
How about the lemon? How about the lemon? The lemon Gruxton cast.
Yeah, the Lemon Gruxton Cast.
Or Nostalgia Gruxton. I forgot to change my name. So Nostalgia Gruxton cast, whatever.
How about spitballing names? How about we could just call it the Lime Cast if you want.
Sure. Or
It kind of spawned from the Lemon Cast.
we could just call it the Slime cast.
The Slime Cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that name actually.
All right. Sweet.
This is
So
Slime Cast episode 1.
yeah.
And then of course like I said, I'm gonna release the full thing, and I'm also gonna cut it up in some clips, Like when we talk about toy collecting, like that'll be its own clip too. A good way to bring in some traffic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, one thing I did want to bring up your channel real quick.
Yeah, what's up?
Actually, I went through a lot of the interviews, and I actually think your channel has a lot of potential. Cause it's sort of the interview channel of the retro gaming community,
Yeah. To be honest, I
But
want to do more podcasts, but I'm just gonna be honest. People can be assholes. Like I said,
yeah,
like
shows a lot of drama.
I had I'm not gonna name names, but there's this one guy I really do watch him, and I love his channel. I tell him on a live stream, hey, do you want to be a part of the podcast? He's just like, hey, yeah, send me an email. I sent him an email. Oh, sorry, you don't have enough subscribers. I'm sorry. And then I'm just like,
What an asshole.
yeah, but I'm just starting out.
Yeah, that guy, whoever that was, that guy, he's a douche.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll say that your channel. One suggestion I actually have for your channel is maybe you should try like cutting it up into clips too. Like a Joe Rogan.
no.
Oh, Joe Rogan, like he has the main podcast interview, but then he has like he posts all the clips too. I think clips might be the way to go to bring in traffic. Cause like say you like talk about the Nintendo 64 with someone, you could label the clip like talking about the Nintendo 64, and then you cast a wide on net.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Yeah, that might. That's what I was thinking. Might be a good idea. That's what I'm gonna try to do with these podcasts too. Like release the full thing and then cut it up. It's just you know how it is with getting videos out. So this would be a nice way to get videos out.
Yeah, that seems like a great idea.
And we'll definitely have to keep doing the Slimecast. We're gonna have to, schedule the next episode.
Fuck it. You want to try every Saturday or something like that?
That could work. It's hard to know for me because, like, I work nights, so I have the days free. So pretty much any day will work for me. And then we could do it every week or every 2 weeks. It's up to you.
I prefer to do every week for consistency. I prefer to do every week for consistency. I can't fucking talk.
I think every week is the way to go, definitely. And then
Yeah.
we could probably structure it too every week. Like we'll both write down a few like 3 topics or something that we'll bring to the episode, Like maybe like each week we come up with 3 topics each and then we present them like structured.
Yeah, definitely.
Hell yeah. The slime cast has been born.
Yeah, man. Slimecast episode 1. I guess look out for more. Shout out to Haytham Gruxton, man. He's a dope person.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I hopefully eventually the planet will know and I will have 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, man, hopefully.
And well, I probably only have a niche appeal, that's fine, but I have a recommendation for you actually.
What's up?
Somebody you've got to get on the Lemon Cast. It's a friend of mine, Iowa Retro Gamer Dad.
Yeah, so I'm actually thinking about having him on. Fuck it, he could be our first guest.
Dude, Iowa Retro Gamer Dad's awesome. You got to get him on the Lemon Cast or something. Like that guy, he's very supportive of retro gaming channels and stuff, and he's just a cool guy. Like I would definitely, you should definitely hit him up on Instagram, and like just message him or something. If I'm sure he'd be down to do an interview.
Yeah, I'll shoot him a DM.
So yeah, he's probably watching this too. Iowa, I'm hooking you up. Well, Iowa, he really is a cool guy. So, and selfishly too, I'd love to see the interview.
Yeah, man, Iowa, you're gonna be our first guest.
Fuck yeah.
Well, all right, man. Again, shout out to Ethan Gruxton. He's a cool guy. Is there anything you want to promote?
Well, anybody watching this on your channel, sure I'll be leaving a comment down below on this video. Or I'm sure I'll be linked in the description. My main channel, Haytham Gruxton. Find me there. I have some dumb side channels, but the main one's Haytham Gruxton. I make content related to video games, basically whatever crosses my mind. Usually try to mix in some comedy and uniqueness, but can't call it. My motto is uniqueness over perfection. I'll aim for high quality, but more importantly, I'll try to bring something unique.
Hey, nice. Well, all right, man. I guess follow me on Twitch, follow the Discord, and follow me on Instagram, I guess. See you guys later. Fucking episode 1.
Hell yeah. You have a good one.
You too.